Computer.
Hello and welcome to the Fit With Us podcast. Sorry, Kyle, I just took the lead there. I just jumped right in front of you there.
It's fine, mate. Somebody had to take the lead. I don't even know what episode is this episode 12, is it?
This is episode 12. So if you're a Spotify listener and you don't have Instagram, then you've missed two full episodes because we've done a live special a couple of days before Christmas, and then the first one of the year was also a live special. So if you didn't know about it, now you do. Go watch it. Go listen to it.
Yeah, you can find it on Instagram at the moment, and once one of our technical skills is good enough to be able to upload it to Spotify, we'll bring it back. But at the moment, it's like the missing episodes. It's like Star Wars Christmas special. You can't find it anywhere.
Aye, it's floating about in the world of social media just now. But anyway, how are you, Kyle? How's things?
Good, mate. Outside of the fact that like January trying new things, I was doing CrossFit yesterday, and the first set of exercises were like devil's press, and the standard was like 22.5 kilos. Man, I don't have the technique to be able to like, get 22.5 kilos like swung up above my head. So I was just like
Mm.
front raising 22.5 kilos, and my shoulders are absolutely buckled. Like I honestly, I'm walking about like James Forrest in his prime there. I'm just like walking a bit like coat hanger and yeah, no,
Aye, you forgot to take the coat hanger out your polo shirt.
oh, it's not great.
Well, I've woken up today ill as fuck. You might be able to hear it.
I wasn't sure if you just had a bit of jaundice, mate. You look a wee bit yellow too.
Right, I had the bus here. That's because I've got my light on.
All right, I actually thought you were going to tell us your terminal. He's gone. See you later. Episode 12, he's signing off.
Is that better? I thought the yellow gave me a wee bit of a glow. Oh
No,
my
mate, it
God,
does. It's just. I hadn't said it until you said that you were feeling sick. I'm like, fuck, he's went yellow.
no, I've woken up super ill. Me and Rachel's mum as well. She's woken up pretty ill. So I feel like I know where it's came from and why it's happened. And it's something that I'd be willing to talk about.
Right, go on. Don't hold us in suspense.
Uh, it's all stemmed from eating shite,
Yeah.
working in a cold gym, not looking after myself, not exercising, not drinking enough water. And yesterday was essentially I binged yesterday. This is me fessing up to Kyle. Kyle's my coach, as some of you already know. So I binged yesterday. And like I say, I've not been eating enough fruit. I've not been eating enough veg over the course of the week. Probably since the start of the year, I found it really hard to get going again. But yesterday, all kind of came to a head. I could sense it coming. I knew it was coming, and there was nothing that I could do about it. So I tried to just embrace it. But I feel like I kind of threw fire onto the flames by going to Tesco when I was feeling in that mood.
Right.
So I started it yesterday morning with a fry up,
Good man.
and then two big bowls of Rice Krispies because I've been craving cereal for about a month and a half. And then went to Tesco, got a wee like pizza meal deal thing, Snickers ice cream, Twix ice cream. But here's the thing, I got halfway through the pizza and I felt sick. So it was a binge, but I capped it. I never went mad. Usually I can eat until I actually be sick, but I capped it after half the pizza done in the bin. Didn't even touch the ice cream. So I'm actually quite proud of myself, but I think it's just been a build up of things like I said, no looking after my nutrition, and it's just all kind of came to a head, and I've woken up today feeling like I've been hit by a bus.
I think that's a fair thing to bring up as well, because that just you touched on it as a build up of things, stress, emotion.
Aye.
I think that's where a lot of people don't acknowledge where their cravings come from. Because, like, I think if we asked logical Gary on Tuesday or Wednesday if you were going to smash through a pizza, a fry up, and two bowls of Rice Krispies at the weekend, you're probably like, nah, I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
By the time that the emotions kicked in, the stress has kicked in, whatever's caused that, naturally come Saturday, that's been the outlet for that. So obviously, you know this yourself. It's about identifying what's caused the stress in the
Mhm.
first place. There's nothing we can do about what's happened. It's just about being able to draw a line. I think that's the same that could be said for anybody in the lesson is things will happen, shit will hit the fan. It's about being able to draw a line, but understanding if every week you're going to find yourself super stressed by Thursday or Friday, trying to find either what's causing the stress or how to unload that stress. that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And like I say, I could see it coming. I could sense it coming. I knew it was coming. So I just tried to, not enjoy it as such, like I say, embrace it. But it was just a build-up. I obviously had a lot of stuff going on with Bear. For people that are listening or watching it that don't know, my dog had an operation about 3.5-ish weeks ago where he had to get a new knee. So he's almost required kind of 24-hour care just to make sure he's recovering properly. And we're having to carry him out the back to go for a pee and a poo, and we're having to carry him back in, and he's stuck to his pen. So that's taken a lot of our effort and our energy. I've been doing 12, 13. I don't mean to sound all woe me, this is not what I'm trying to do here, but been working 12, 13-hour days this week just in the preparation, like 8-hour shifts in the gym, 4 or 5 hours setting up for Frazzie's group that I work for online. He's got a big launch tomorrow, so a lot of work's been going into that, and it's been great. I fucking loved it, but it has been tiring. And like I say, the stress of Bear, and another thing with Bear's operation as well, the insurance company fucked us over and said they weren't covering the operation, so that's been a wee bit stressful because it's wiped out a lot of our savings.
Yeah.
And it's just, it all just kind of came to a head. It all came to a head.
I was going to say, Bear became the most expensive dog in Glasgow. Like,
Oh, mate, unbelievable. We've had him since May, and I see that I'm skint.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when you told me about Bear and like it's not a couple of quid, it's like you're talking a good couple of grand that you had to
Oh,
spend to be able to sort out,
aye.
and it doesn't sound like you're getting much help with that as well. But how are we feeling at the moment, mate?
Oh, like dog shit. Like
Yeah,
absolute dog shit. But I just wanted to talk about it because a lot of people will be able to relate to this, and I want to kind of educate people on how to bounce back from it, if that's all right. Is that something that you're all right talking about?
100%, mate.
Um, so one thing that I've done today is I've held myself accountable by telling you guys on the podcast, by telling Kyle, I've owned up to my shit. So I've drew a line under it. I'm not going to dwell on it because there's no point in dwelling on it. It's happened. You can't undo it. So there's no point in feeling guilty and feeling bad about it because that's just going to stress you out. You're going to get emotional. You're probably going to snack. You're probably going to binge again if you just keep doing that. So I'm going to make sure that I don't let it bleed over into today. I could easily have done that because those ice creams are still in the freezer. I could easily tan 2 of them right now, but I'm choosing not to because I don't want it to bleed over into 2 days because I know after 2 days I'm going to feel even worse and I do not want that to happen. Another thing you could do is ask yourself and possibly write down how you feel the next day, and then it means you can refer back to it when you can feel another one kind of coming on, or you can recognize the triggers that set you off. Refer back to how you felt after your last binge and think, do I want to feel like that again? Is half an hour eating as much as I can going to be worth feeling like that tomorrow? Yes, fucking do it. No, do not do it. And do not try making up for it the next day or next couple of days. Maybe skip breakfast, but that's about as far as I would go. I wouldn't try and dial back on my calories. I wouldn't go super strict. I wouldn't be like, fuck, I cannot eat for the next 2 days just to balance things out, because then you're going to be in that super horrible restrict binge cycle just constantly. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, 100%. I think points all very well made, and the only thing I would add to that is, it's just from my own experience. When I get to a point where, for a better word, fucked it,
Yeah.
I try and, not that you're making up for anything, and you absolutely don't do that, but what I do is I make sure that I'm super prepped for the next couple of days, because again, logical versus emotional. Like, you can always feel that you want, like, a perfect example is this is, let's say that you're trying to get up early in the morning, and it's like, let's say it's Sunday and Monday, I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to do X, Y, Z. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you all of a sudden you're cold, it's dark, you're not getting out of bed, and you sleep in until, sometimes you even sleep in later than what you normally would. It's just like there's an empathy gap there, I think it's what it's called. But with that, it's the same as what we do on a week to week basis. That's why so many people always want to start on a Monday and they fucked it by Thursday, because we don't have the things in place to set us up for success. So I would say, particularly if you're wanting a really good start, just make sure that you're prepping, like super prepped, almost like to the point where it's like your food is taken care of Monday to at least Wednesday, so that emotion's taken out of it. If you're feeling that you're having a wee wobble on Tuesday, your food's there. You've got off to a good start, because motivation comes on the back of like seeing progress. and progress typically happens by doing things. So like when you do things, that's when motivation comes, not the other way around. So once you have those things in place and you get a bit of momentum behind you, it's a lot easier to carry that on like throughout the week. So I would say minimum, just make sure if you're listening to this that if we're wanting a really good start, don't leave anything down to chance. Try and reduce the emotional decisions. And again, that's not just food. That could be like I'm probably one of the least organized people naturally, which means I need to double down constantly on how organized I am. So I'm literally got Google Calendar, like just absolutely to the T, where I'm like everything is in place so that there's no room for Kyle's head's going, oh, I might do that instead, or I might do this, or like somebody's messaged me here and I need to do this instead. It's this is what's happening. These are the big rocks that I need to do. And I think that's, again, it can make things a lot easier to see and a lot less overwhelming throughout the week. That makes sense?
100%. And like when you do have things, I like to put mine on a paper calendar rather than using Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And as you do things, tick them off. And then when you get to the end of the day, sometimes what you feel like has been a very unproductive day has actually been super productive. You just forgot about all the wee tasks that you've had to do. And then that can also help you build momentum and build motivation and stuff as well. When you look back at your diary and you go, fuck, I've done quite a lot today, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to show you this on my camera. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I actually have these. It's quite satisfying.
Oh,
it's gone. Right. I'll do that again.
what just happened there? Kyle's camera is just went completely black and it says it's got green B.
I'm still here. I'm still here, but I'll not do it in the connection. The connection's lovely, but I have these things that you can put up on the wall. That's like it's like sheets, but like they're easy stick sheets where you can then get pens and you can write on it. So I don't know how solid it is to actually do straight lines. I had a ruler straight lines with a pen, but I've marked off every day of the year, and I've got tick boxes as to the things, the big rocks I have to do. So every day I'll just go tick, 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 or sometimes not tick, 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 whatever way that goes. But it's quite satisfying. I put it on purposely just to the left-hand side of my office so that I can see every day. I need to look at it and go, right, fuck, I need to fill that in. It's like it's like you don't stop until that's done, really.
Aye.
Yeah.
Love that. It always helps being ahead of the game. By the way, wee bit of a change of subject here, but it's just popped back into my head. Do you guys get Gladiators over there? Did you watch it last night?
I don't know, mate. No, I don't know. I've heard the Gladiators. Jen's heard the Gladiators, so I'm assuming in Ireland they had Gladiators. I've not watched the new one. If that's what you're asking.
That's what I was asking. It started last night. Did you watch the old one growing up?
Oh, mate, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Mate, the new one is fantastic. We all sat down last night during Pizzagate and watched it.
Pizzagate. I thought it was funny now.
And one of the gladiators, you probably recognise him. It's Matt Does Fitness.
Oh, is he one of the gladiators? Is
he? He's trying to be one of the baddies. His name's Legend in it, and he's trying to be one of the kind of the baddie guys in it. But he was really good. I don't recognise anybody else. But yeah, you should give it a watch if you can, mate.
Is it on is it just on a Sunday night? Is it on every night or what's?
No, it's Saturday night.
Fuck, it's Sunday. I'm losing track of my days, mate.
I know, mate. I know. So I would. What?
I was going. The only thing that used to keep me knowing what days is when I used to drink on a Saturday night because I knew that it was a Saturday, and I'm like, I woke up today going, I'm fresh. It's not been Saturday last night.
All confused as fuck. How are you getting on with not drinking? When was the last drink you had?
Oh, it was probably 2nd to 3rd of January. And what I was going to say, last year my big thing was to drink less. I'm never going to put my hands up and go, I'm never going to drink again because like take it day by day. But last year I definitely drank a lot less last year than any time in my adult life. Like I went through several periods of just not drinking at all, and then 3 months before Christmas, had Christmas, and then like I'm off it for foreseeable, but it'll be at least 3 months, if not, like the baby's born in June. I don't rule out, like Jen's not drinking as well. The big part of the social outlet for me and Jen, and like if Jen's not drinking a Saturday night, I don't really feel overly comfortable just smashing cans by myself. it's a bit of a lonely business that. So yeah. I'm not saying I won't before June, but at the same time, like I might not, I don't know, might not ever, But whatever, I'm not saying anything at the moment. I'm enjoying
Fair
not,
dues.
not I'm enjoying not at the moment. It's quite nice to. I've got Rocky up this morning and done 5,000 steps. Enjoyed a wee podcast. And do you know what's great on a Sunday morning, mate? There's nobody about, so I'm just walking and just. I know that sounds mad, but just actually having a bit of peace and quiet, just being able to walk and like peaceful. Anyway,
Love that.
before I start getting dead.
And you've been absolutely smashing the steps before 9 o'clock as well, which is great to see. Whereas I've just been staying in bed.
It's nice, mate, but again, there's only like it's warm. In fairness, that's the main thing. It's warm in bed.
To be fair, the only day I did get out early was Tuesday morning when I was in Tesco at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Was that in Tesco to get your pizza?
That was in preparation for this weekend. But it was the only thing that was able to get me out, like see having somewhere to go. It was the only thing that was able to actually get me out of bed because I knew we had to get the food shop in, otherwise, it was going to be fast, convenient food for my day at work. So, but apart from that, man, it's hard to get back into it. And I know I'm not the only person that is struggling to get back into it after the new year, even though a lot of us are going the whole new year, new me push. I'm like, new year, old me. Like,
I don't think you need a new you. I think you just need a slightly better you. I put that down. And
aye.
Shannon and I recorded a training for the biofitness guys, and it was about new year, new habits. And one of the things that I just touched on was the fact that like you don't need a new year, new you. Trying to completely reinvent the wheel and reinvent yourself is a recipe for disaster. You just want to be a slightly better version of yourself. And some people would argue that you probably need to be a much better version of yourself. But regardless of where that spectrum lies, you just want to be better than what you were yesterday and today. And without sounding overly cliche about that, is like instead of looking at the big goal as to a year's time, what can you do today and tomorrow to make yourself better than you were yesterday, and continue doing that until such times that you ultimately in a year's time you do become, don't want to say unrecognizable, but you become that better version of yourself.
Aye, you're not going to get much better until you become slightly better.
Yeah, that's probably the best quote, but it's still not a sexy Instagram quote, is it? Like,
Aye, and it's made even unsexier when it's said by a Glaswegian man who can't speak English properly.
second language, mate. I said that to something. See, when I put up the thing the other day on Instagram, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was an outtake where I said, if you're struggling to lose muscle and gain fat, and I was like, I've said that round the wrong way. So a few people messaged me, whatever, and I was like, oh, English is my second language anyway. But genuinely, a few people believe me that English was my second language, like
Brilliant.
first language. I was like, right, okay, that went way over
Aye,
there.
we're living in a day, we're living in an age now where sarcasm is so, like, it's a forgotten art, if that makes sense.
You're not allowed to be sarcastic anymore, though, are you?
Oh, well, fuck it, I'm still going to be sarcastic. But then that's the generation that we grew up in.
I know, but yeah, it's frustrating. Like, I don't know if you've seen the new Ricky Gervais comedy.
But
He got a massive amount of backlash about like just being it. But I'm like, Ricky Gervais 10 years ago, you could argue probably wasn't even controversial. He's only controversial now because everything else has had to be tamed. Like,
aye. Aye, lots of people online are saying that he's a sellout and stuff, and he's sold his soul to the devil. Whereas I found his stand up quite funny, but what he was saying, like, it's true. He's just telling jokes. It's just jokes. It's to make people laugh, but people go out of their way to be offended by stuff that isn't offended. See, if I offend somebody, that's not my problem. That is your problem for being offended. You have chosen to be offended. What I said wasn't offensive. You have chosen to be offended by it. So therefore, it's a you problem, not a me problem. So I shouldn't need to change how I approach subjects and say what I like. Can I think about what I want to say just because you're choosing to be offended? Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
yeah, 100%. I think I only speak from personal experience. I've never been offended by somebody that I don't know or has impacted my life. But you know what? The times that I have been most hurt or offended is by people, and they've not actually used any really scathing words. It's just the manner of what they've said and how they've said it has had an impact on how I felt. So, yeah, I don't think probably righting the wrongs of the world right now in terms of outside the fitness domain is really the two PDs. We probably go too deep into that, but
Aye. Oh,
Yeah.
if somebody goes out their way to offend you, like if they're purposefully trying to offend you, then fucking get it right up them. But if I'm just telling a joke and you decide to be offended by that joke, then fuck you.
Get it right up them. Just a last wee note on that. Did you see that apparently there was a big documentary about the fact that there's no comedy films out? Like when was the last big comedy film that you can remember?
Ah,
It's because it's genuinely so hard to even push a comedy film in there because there's so much that's now offensive and won't get received well. So nobody wants to make a comedy film anymore, which is absolute madness. Like we've brought the fact that comedy films no longer exist.
that's wild, isn't it? Because comedy now no longer exists. It is bonkers. Anyway, we're getting so off topic here. It's fucking brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, it's become a podcast that's had nothing to do
Aye.
with our health. But what I was going to say, did you have a wee list of anything, or just we're shooting the shit, or what's the plan?
Aye, just shooting the shit, mate. I'll tell you one thing that did piss me off the other day, though. Again, this is completely off topic. I'm having a great time here. I was I don't know how you feel about this as well, but I was walking into Lidl and I was coming for the left, and I was walking at quite a pace, right? And I was an older guy coming for the right, walking really slow. He looked at me, seeing how fast I was coming. He could have, when the doors opened, he could have stayed to the right and let me past. Right in the middle, right in the middle of the doors, and I couldn't get past him. Had to fucking put the brakes on, nearly went right up his ass. Just get out the fucking way. I know you're old. Just get out the way.
It hate is slow walkers. Like
Oh my God.
I know that's probably we are speaking about probably an 80-year-old man here. But, I'm taking that in context. You never know. He might have cataracts in his eyes, mate. He might not have seen you, but
He fucking seen me.
he's seen you. Did you beat, mate? Did you beat?
Just just have some common courtesy and let faster walkers by. We're not asking you to stop walking. You can continue walking. Just shuffle over to the side a wee bit so we can squeeze by you.
I
Is
think
that fair?
for common courtesy, if we're going for things that I dislike, that people who don't walk on the escalators do my nutting. Get stuck behind them, and then see people that walk in groups of like 3 or 4 on a
Oh,
pavement and just don't move out of the way. I'm like, oh, sound, you own this now, do you?
aye, man. Well, families, two adults, two lanes, taking up the whole pavement.
Yeah, at one point, mate, I was touching 100 kilos, and I was like, see, when people wouldn't move out of the way, I'm like, to be fair, if I don't make a decision to move out of the way, there's only one winner in this situation. Like, you're getting mowed. Like, I have, it's only for my common courtesy that you are not on the pavement right now. You
Aye.
are horizontal.
I feel like when I'm walking through Glasgow, like the city centre, I feel like a cat because it's constantly like reflexes are just boom, 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 moving out of people's way. And Rachel's actually said to me before, stop moving out of people's way
Jesus.
because I'm always the one that moves.
To be fair, mate, I think I might just set in your non-negotiables next week that you need to swagger through the city centre because the calories that you're burning will be tremendous.
I'll get my big green parka on and walk through like Liam Gallagher. Just bounce people out the way.
Fair enough. Um, what I was going to say, how is January going from a fitness perspective anyway? Like your clients, everything else, business wise?
Um, yeah, business wise, okay. I've kind of taken a step back from my socials, as you've probably seen, just because I have to kind of go where the money is at the minute. So I'm taking on a lot more clients in the gym. And then we have a massive group launch tomorrow with 250 plus people. So all my concentration, like I say, energy has been going into that. It's been fucking amazing. I've absolutely loved it. But like I say, it's been tiring. Getting up, heading the laptop from 7 until about 11, getting ready for the gym, being in the gym by 12:30, getting home at 8:30, 9 o'clock, repeat the next day. But I'll tell you something. I honestly forgot how much I loved coaching people in person. Like, see the thrill of just getting somebody to move a certain way or helping them get a wee bit deeper in their squat. It's unmatched. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I'm here for that.
What about you? How's your January going busy from what I can see?
Yeah, mate, as it's really busy. We had our group launch of BFA. Shannon's had quite a few people set up. I've had in the last week it started to pick up again. So to be honest, the first week of January, I was looking at it and I think like looking at the metrics, it was slightly quieter than it was last January. And I couldn't put my finger on that. But I think it's just, again, people's buying habits have changed, and I think that's just not even fitness related. That's like worldwide. I think people are just buying less at the moment. But with that said, coming into this week, we're now ahead of where we were last year. So just from what the product we were selling last year in terms of like one-to-one coaching, we're ahead of where that was. And then we've got BF8, which launched as well. And then doing things with Shannon, it's like, it puts me in a different perspective, because a lot of what I'm doing is trying to help Shannon be a better coach. So it's a lot of reviewing things for her, talking to her about the messaging and talking to her about dealing with certain client scenarios, which is nice. It's actually quite nice to be in a different position, and when you're not actually dealing with the client directly, but you're trying to kind of speak to someone else about how you would speak to them, rights and wrongs, and how you would do it. It's like, it is, but it also makes you think differently as well, because another coach shouldn't necessarily be a carbon copy of me, as much as we should speak from the same brand standards. It shouldn't be the way I deal with things exactly is the same way Shannon. Shannon will do things better than I do, and I'll do things better than Shannon's about taking what she does well, what I do well, and allow a bit of personality to come across.
Aye. You're building a big thing, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited myself, mate. It's good, but like on the back of that, I am pretty shattered myself. Like I was on top of it. I think I was voice messaging you at like 8 o'clock last night, just when I was on my. I got to 8 o'clock last night, and I was like, I've still got 7,000 steps to do, and Rocky's literally got his 2 paws up on me, going, "When are you taking me out to walk again?" Because he knows. So I was like, I need to go and take him an hour walk at least, and then I was just obviously catching up with yourself, Rach, everything else, and I think I ended up sitting down last night about 9 o'clock. But today, outside of this, mate, I'm taking pretty much today off. I'd say today off, mate. The house is an absolute kip, so I'll be hooving the house, which I think I'd rather be working, if I'm being honest.
Aye, you've never got any time to hoover.
That's it. Yeah, do you know what? I downloaded Call of Duty Modern Warfare free at Christmas time.
Nice.
I've played it 2 or 3 times, and actually I was getting quite good. It's almost like muscle memory, mate. I was coming back to like being that 15-year-old who's like all those hours when I was 15 were starting to come back to me, because there's a few times I was finishing like first on the leaderboard. Like I think 3 consecutive games, like I was winning by a country mile. I'm like, yes, I am back. But I've not played it for a while. I think it's a good thing, because it's an easy hole for me to fall down, and I think you'll know that yourself, is when you need to, same as myself, you need to switch on to something to switch off, and it's very easy to switch on to that, but when you switch on to it, it's then very difficult to then switch off.
Oh, mate, I'm being the same with Hogwarts.
Yeah, yeah. I seen this is. I didn't say that to you before. When you said you were getting it, I was like, I played about 4 or 5 hours that, and got to the point where I was like, right, I need to make a decision. I'm either going to have to donate my life to this, or I'm going to have to stop playing it. And it sat on my PlayStation. I'm like, I'll go back to it at some point, but right now I can't, because like yourself, mate, I've just been like playing that constant.
Aye. How long? What? Christmas was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3.
Is it 3 weeks ago already? What day is it today? 14th? Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, I'm already at 22 hours into it, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot.
It's not bad, mate. To be fair, it's 8 hours a week. Like.
Rachel's like 70 plus.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Did I tell you the time that Jen got Animal Crossing during lockdown?
I don't think you did.
No, so we looked at our hours, played Animal Crossing. So 4 weeks in to lockdown, Jen had played 160 hours of Animal Crossing. We averaged that as 40 hours a week. She was playing Animal Crossing. She'd literally just replaced what she was doing in her work with Animal Crossing. That was her new full-time job.
What a fucking game, though.
What a game indeed, but like 40 hours, like no wonder her village was absolutely outstanding. She was racing me for like having like shite walls. I'm like, well, sure, you're 100 hours ahead of me. Of course I've got shite walls.
Oh, brilliant. I had a lot of fun in Animal Crossing too. Have you got any questions that you wanted to cover? Because I know you said you had a few things like
No, there was just a few things I took note of obviously dealing with quite a high volume of people getting started in January, first week or two, few questions that were arising about, like, common questions, not just a once-off, but there was a few common themes, and like it could be not weighing yourself or not taking pictures, and it could be, could you eat out? Like, is it like, again, exercise in terms of not being able to do what they want in the gym. So possibly just maybe touching on some of that. Maybe we can bounce about a wee bit. Or like, one of the ones actually. Okay, we'll start with this then. If
Let's
you're
do it.
okay with this. So, one of the key things that came up 2 or 3 times was dealing with people around you who aren't supportive. I think few people just get started, and the people around them were saying things like they were becoming obsessive, or they would end up with an eating disorder, or like what they were doing is restrictive. So what's your experience, what's your thoughts on that, and what's your feelings of dealing with people who aren't supportive around you?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've been there myself and dealt with it. As you know, it's been usually family members.
Yep.
You don't need to lose weight. You don't need to do this. Or just have a wee bit of my food. You don't. One more bite won't hurt you. One drink won't kill you. Friends as well come out for a pint. No, I don't want to drink. Or one pint won't hurt. And then before you know it, you're 5, 6 pints deep, getting a kebab on the way home. I would suggest you need to sit them down and have a very deep conversation about it. Pretty much put all the cards on the table. This is why you're doing it. This is how it makes you feel, like your current situation. This is how your current situation makes you feel. This is how them being unsupportive makes you feel.
Yep.
And just just get it all out there. Tell them, like I say, why you're doing it, why you are finding it difficult, with them being unsupportive, and what they have to do to show support. They don't have to bend over backwards for you. Just be supportive. Be happy that you're trying to do something to better yourself. It's important to remember that your fitness journey is for you and you alone.
Yep.
Nobody else gives more fucks about your fitness journey than you do.
Yeah, your mates don't really care if you're like, well, we could put it in perspective, like your mates didn't really care when you were feeling out of shape and your t-shirts weren't really fitting you the way that you wanted to, and you didn't feel great in yourself. They just seen you as Gary, you're a mate, you deal with them in the same situations, and you're always going to be Gary. It doesn't make a massive difference to their life if you lose 5 or 10 kilos. And the same said for everybody. Your mates don't really care what weight you are or what you look like. You're their mate at the end of the day for most people. So the best thing, and you touched on this, Gary, is just actually like telling them the reasons why you're doing what you're doing, what makes you feel, and what you want from it. And sometimes when it comes to the over restriction part and the you're going to end up with an eating disorder, I would ask them why. Like, why is that going to happen? A lot of time it's like people don't understand like the likes of tracking food, but like there's only one thing that science. Okay, we'll go into what science versus like made up, or like anything else is. So science is literally when you can have a repeatable process over time. If you burned every single book that exists right now, any part of literature, the chances are the majority of like science books, well, calorie deficit would come back because you can repeat it over time. Like calories would still come back regardless, because when you experiment, it comes back. The likes of, for instance, if you burned the Bible and whatever, and there was no literature left on that, it's most likely not going to come back because it's not science. Now, whether your thoughts on the Bible versus a scientific book is like, that's a podcast for a different day. 2 PTs, right? But it's a repeatable process. So when anybody is doing something, the reason that you're given the knowledge of what a calorie is or calorie deficit is so that it's repeatable over time. They know how they've got themselves in shape. We're giving them understanding and power of that. So to say it's anything but that, like, is coming from a point of misinformation. And I would probably then, I always say this, and you probably noticed this in the last couple of podcasts, is leverage it back to money. So like, people have no issue with when the bank, you want a mortgage, they're like, well, show us your statements, show us your savings, show us, they're all numbers, because the bank wants, again, proof that you are able to do a certain thing that you said you're going to do. The reason that mortgages are given out is they have a system that's repeatable over time. Science would say whether you're going to be able to afford the repayment or not. It's the same when it comes to your health and fitness and losing weight. performance, whatever it is, it's about making sure that you actually have it in place. So I would argue that maybe explaining what, I wouldn't go into that depth with them, but explaining that the reasons you're doing it, but then maybe asking them, okay, what do you suggest then? If I'm feeling this way,
Yeah.
what do you suggest? And why do you reckon that's going to work for me?
Yeah. Because it's always the people that are uneducated that have the biggest opinion.
Standard, mate. To be honest, mate, I've been guilty. Look, I've been guilty of it myself in personal experience. When I was 19 and newly qualified, mate, I thought I knew absolutely everything because I'd read it on like Men's Health, and I don't lie when I say that. I was convinced about, because when you do your health fitness, your college degree, whatever it is, they tell you that you'll be more qualified than somebody who gets a PT degree and you know everything. And it's like you then just start believing that, and when you give information, you're like, no, that's the only way to do it. And sure, if you say it loud and you say it like proud enough, people believe you for it. So
Yeah.
it is when you don't know. It's the what's the fucking thing called again? It's the unaware, incompetent, unaware. It's like, sorry, there's a 4-stage model for it, but yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I have no idea what it is. You were getting it there. Sorry.
No. I was just, yeah. I was just saying that about people that that are not supportive. I think just actually getting them on side by asking what actually, like, tell
Yeah.
them what it is that you want, and ultimately there's different methods of getting there, but they all come under the same thing. So, yeah, that's. Well, I don't think there's anything else to add to that, unless there's anything else you want to put in.
Maybe just the most important people that you want to have supporting you and on your side are people that you live with. See, people you don't live with, you can deal with them easier. But the people that you live with, whether it be husband, wife, partner, whoever, mum, dad, children, get them on your side. That's the most important people to get on your side. And then the other people you can just, because you can limit how much time you're spending with other people. If that's going to be what you want to do, if it's going to be helpful for your goals, if it's going to help you get to where you want to be in life. But with people you live with, you kind of weigh them 24/7. So get them on your side first. They're the most important ones through personal experience.
What would you do if they're still not supportive?
Divorce. Nah, that's a very, very good question. Honestly, I don't even know how I would answer that to a client and stuff like that.
I think for a lot of people, the situation is like, even when they implement quite a lot of it and tell them the reasons why, like there are certain people who are stuck in their ways and they won't budge from that opinion. And unfortunately, if you're somebody's daughter or son or whatever that is, then they feel that they have the right to be able to tell you exactly how you should live your life. For some people, and that's just a harsh reality of it. But I think possibly looking at that person and from your own personal perspective, ask yourself the question, are they living the life that I want to live? And if the answer is yes, then yeah, look, there might be some validity because success leaves clues. There might be some validity in their opinion, because it is not every bit of information you give is right, but it might be right in what they're saying. But if the answer is no, which it usually is, then maybe look at it and go, would I take advice from that person? Like, there's
Yeah.
plenty of people have told me how to try and run my business who don't run their own businesses. I'm like, yeah, that's
Aye.
want to speak to somebody who, and I have spoke to people that run their own business and be where I want to be. So it's also okay for you to, albeit understand that somebody's not supportive of you, but also dismiss their opinion. Like, it's fine for you to
Aye.
go, yeah, no worries. And you said it earlier, is tell them what support you need. But sometimes the support you need is to actually just go, well, cool, if you can't be supportive, just don't say it at all. Fine.
Aye.
Just fucking wind the neck in.
100%. I found myself just becoming super selfish. Started doing things for me, not giving a fuck what anybody else would say, and then see if like the person that was giving me advice, if they had news about health or whatever and it was bad, then I would then be unempathetic. Because I'd be like, well, it's your own fucking fault.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then that makes me feel like a bad person. So it's kind of it's a vicious cycle, but you do it at some point have to be selfish and do things for you because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Well, I'll give you a real life example. So, like, when Jen and I were living with our parents, like, our dad, he's in his 80s, and fairness, you only know what you know, and at that time, the information he was given is what it is. But he used to absolutely grill us. Like if he's seen us eating a steak past 5 o'clock in the evening, oh, steak's bad for you that time of night. It's too hard to digest. He was convinced that we're going to end up like doing ourselves damage, and like I tried the whole but this is why we're doing it. Again, that didn't sink in, and whatever. Like it didn't matter how many qualifications I had or whatever. Like my advice was nothing compared to what he knew, which is fair. So it got to the point where I tried to just ignore it, and you'd go into the house sometimes and there'd be like the Daily Mail. I don't know if you get the Daily Mail over there, but I'd just be opening at a page where it was like steak's bad for you. It wasn't like it'd say it anymore. It'd just be on the table where I'm like, oh, that's convenient there, isn't it? Like it's open there. And I was fine because obviously I was confident enough in what I'm doing, but it can be very difficult when you're not as confident, you're not as bought into the process to start off with, to have people do that. So I would also double down on the fact that for things to change, things need to change. So you doing the same thing as what you did last year didn't probably work out for you so well. It maybe did, but it's about doing things a little bit better, and for that, then things need to change slightly. So try it for a long enough period that you actually be able to see the result from it. So trying something for a week probably not going to give you decent results. Try it for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to actually find what's working or not.
I think that's a big issue that people have as well, is they don't stick out for long enough because they don't see results immediately. So they don't actually give it time to work, and then they go, well, this didn't work for me, so I'm obviously broken. And then just kind of throw the towel in, where in reality it would work for you if you allowed it to work, if you gave it time to work.
Yeah, agree on that. I've actually, just from a completely non-fitness related point of view, I done that recently because I was moaning to you during the week about the Instagram algorithm where like nobody actually sees my stuff anymore. And it's different, whereas like 2 years ago you could put things up and all of your followers would see it and it's up to them if they like it or not, whereas Instagram now selectively like chooses who it shows it to. So instead of, let's say there's 2,000 people, there's 300 people that are getting shown it. So there's a high percentage of my followers that aren't seeing anything. But anyway, long story long, I was speaking to a guy about how to like get more engagement with his posts. He's like, this style of post is what is trending at the moment. Like, do that. I was like, cool. And it's not just a random guy. It's a guy that I paid to give me this information. So I was like, I put up the first post and it didn't get any more followers or reach that are like likes or reach than the first post. And I was like, right, second post coming up, same thing again. I'm like, well, that's a lot of shite. And then in my head, I'm going, you haven't done it long enough to actually know if it works or not. I was ready for throwing the towel in. And I'm like, what would you say to somebody who was going for a fat loss journey? It's the same thing. Just because you've started something in the first 2 days, the scales haven't started dropping down, doesn't mean it doesn't work. Do it over 90 days. Then you've got enough like data to know if it's working or not.
Aye, absolutely. And in the old mentoring group that I was in, I was speaking to two of the coaches for there, and what they'd done for a whole year was post a reel a day. They were together, so they were like both able to do it. I think for me doing a reel a day, it would, oh my God, tan my wrists. But for a whole year, they were posting 1 reel a day, and 3 reels in that year popped off and went viral, and that's where they got the majority of their followers from. And it was 362 reels were average at best, and it was 3 reels that popped off that went fucking mental.
I downloaded Sean Casey's thing, and that's what he was doing on TikTok, and he was doing 14 to 30 reels per day. Like, and he was like, it doesn't matter the quality of them in terms of like just find what works. He's like, literally just test it, and the best performing reels on, let's say you do 14 one day, the best reel or the best engagement, then put it on Instagram and like keep rinsing that. And he's like, use TikTok as your testing ground and then throw it on Instagram. And clearly, like, he's got millions followers or whatever. Clearly it's working for him. I just don't know. I don't have the time or the headspace to do 30 reels. Like Rocky, about 12 of them. Like, it's, yeah.
I struggle to do a 30-second reel, never mind 30 of them.
Struggle to do 30 seconds in a lot of aspects of life. Moving on swiftly.
Swiftly moving on.
So I need to go in just under 10 minutes, but is there anything that you have that you want to touch on?
No, no. I've actually quite enjoyed just shooting the shit, coming in with no script and just kind of taking it step by step. I've actually really enjoyed it. I hope
Okay.
people that are listening have enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. I was going to say, like, if there's nothing else really to add. I think we've got a decent amount in there already, unless
Aye.
add anything else to that.
I could tell you about my scary dream or my fucked up dream that I had last night. I don't know if it's because I'm ill, but I woke up this morning convinced that it was real and it was freaking me out.
Tell me, well, the floor is yours, so on you go.
The floor is mine. Bear with me here, right? So I had like a wee kind of spot on my eyebrow. This is in a dream. And I popped it, right? I popped the spot. And this white centipede thing started coming out of the spot. So I was freaking out and I went to pull it out my eyebrow and it was attached inside my face at my ear. So so when I was pulling it from my eyebrow, I could feel the pain in my ear where it felt like it was like clinging onto my skin, like on my skull. And I woke up this morning convinced that it was real, and I went to the bathroom and I was like checking my eyebrows and stuff. But I don't know if I'm just so fucked because I'm so ill. But it was quite creepy.
It's mad how you do have those type of dreams when you're not feeling great. Like, I had a chest infection, had some mad dreams myself. Can't remember any of them, but like, yeah, decent, mate.
I was fucked. Anyway, I thought that would be a good thing to end it on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. If you liked Gary's centipede story, then give us a wee like and share.
Give us a wee like and share. I'll post. Where can people find you actually?
At BioFitness80 on Instagram, and I'm not really on anything else, so that's it. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. If you want to find me, it's at GMAC_health and fitness on Instagram. I'll post both links to our pages in the description of this podcast, so you'll be able to find them below.
Class. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be doing this again back on the regular on Zoom. Oh, sorry, back on Spotify and YouTube. So you'll find us there. If you liked it, again, like, share, subscribe, do all that crack.
Lovely stuff. Thanks for listening, team.
Cheers. Bye.